Hey, what's up, everybody? Got Tena LeBoeuf here with Idaho Falls Training Center. She came through our Shield Maiden immersion. If you're watching this on the video, I actually even have the nicely plugged t-shirt to go with it, but met Tina not that long ago, and she's an incredible woman, and I'm excited to have her on the show. So thank you, Tina, for being here. I really appreciate it.
So great to see you again, Coach Nate. Thanks for asking me on.
Absolutely. And I know Tina's a little bit nervous right now. This is her first ever podcast, but I told her that's okay. It's just me and her having a conversation. So you've listened to a few of these, and as you know, the first question is championship leadership. Like, what comes to mind for you when you hear or think of championship leadership?
Okay, so we already have an issue, technical issue. My battery is going to die. You got to give me 2 seconds to.
You got this. I'll
Nate,
hit pause here. Yes, we had a little technical difficulties, but that's all right. And yeah, so the question is what comes to mind for you when you think of championship leadership?
Champion leadership is kind of twofold for me. You need to be a mentor. You need to gain people's trust through integrity and honesty, follow through with what you say, but also be a student. You've got to have the ability to learn and grow from others, be humble and gracious for what you've been given, and what's being offered to you in the future.
Yeah, I love that. And so tell us a little bit more about you and what you do. So I know that you have, like I said, the Idaho Falls Training Center, which primarily gymnastics training facility, correct?
Right, primarily gymnastics. We do have competitive girls team, but we also do parkour, cheerleading, dance, tumbling. So a whole variety to try to get as many kids through as possible.
Do you guys do some parkour?
We do, yeah. We need to get you and Coach Satema over.
That's awesome. Yeah,
It.
I listened to a book here a while ago, and unfortunately, it was by Chris McDougall, who wrote Born to Run, and the name of the book's missing me right now. But it basically had to do. Most of it talked about World War II and some soldiers in Crete. But a part of the book, he talks about parkour and the training and how incredible it is. It's also kind of like, it's kind of intense stuff though too, right? You're doing a lot of crazy stuff.
It is. I love to see how the body works, how these children can manipulate each other to know where you are with your flight, your strength, your balance, your agility. It's amazing full body challenge for sure.
Yeah. So talk to us like, so everybody has a story, everybody has a path. Like how did you fall into leading and operating this successful training center, gymnastics center? How did that happen for you? Like, what was the path that got you there?
I think it started as I was a child. I was a gymnast when I was in Oklahoma. Then my family moved to Michigan, and we didn't have a gymnastics team at the school I was at. And so basically my only option was cheer. And with that, it wasn't my favorite, but I could still tumble. I was small enough. I was flight. I was the flyer, and they didn't have any gymnastics there. So I developed a tumbling course and taught all of the cheerleaders how to tumble, and they've incorporated in that program way back since when I was in school. I loved that aspect of it. The fact that I actually was able to teach my peers just really kind of started my reinforcement that that's a path that I like to take. And so I always dabbled in it, and just had an opportunity to buy the gym. My oldest daughter was starting gymnastics, and so just took hold and been going ever since.
And how long has that been?
It'll be 20 years next year.
20 years. That's pretty incredible. Most businesses don't make it 2 years. So the fact that you have done it, and you've done it at a high level too, right? Highly successful gym. You've had some highly successful gymnasts as well, correct?
Correct. I've got the only elite gymnast that was ever brought out of Idaho, the only gymnast to score a perfect 10 in the state of Idaho. So yeah, some decent accomplishments for a non-college gal, for sure.
That's right. I love it. And so, well, tell me, to create a thriving business and to have the longevity that you've had. There's definitely some strong leadership that has to be in place in order for that to happen. Like, you don't just luck yourself into 20 years of success inside of that business, especially today's day and age. Like, it seems like there's a gym popping up every other week on every other corner.
Just dealt with that 2 months ago.
Yeah, and the strong definitely do survive, and you've obviously done that. So who are some people in your life that have impacted you as a leader? Who are maybe some coaches, some mentors along the way that have helped you to get that right? Because we all get help from multiple people throughout our lives and different phases of our lives. So who are a few that really come to mind for you?
Definitely my gymnastics coach from Oklahoma, who has since passed, unfortunately, but growing up in a pretty rough household as a child, it was an out for me. It was a way for me to show my talents and actually have some self-worth. She took me under her wing. She knew what was going on in my household.
Yeah.
She was great at letting me go at my own pace, understanding why I had bad pace or bad days and good days, and just being there for me more than just a coach, but actually listening
Uh-huh.
and getting that seventh sense of feel of what's going on in each of our athletes' lives. And at that time, I didn't realize it, but looking back now, definitely one of the biggest impacts to keep me going and make me realize that no matter what I'm being told, I do have some talent, some self-worth, and I do have the ability to help others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would imagine, and you tell me, that you've probably taken a lot of what you experienced through that coach helping you during a very difficult time in your life, like you said, in the home life. And number one, like, championship leaders, they're able to really read into what's being said, what isn't being said. And I'm guessing, there's, like, you want to call it intuition or whatever you want, but for your coach to pick up on certain cues and things, and to be able to really take you under her wing like that, that's so, not everybody ends up having that. And then unfortunately that can lead to extreme darkness, or ultimately just really not great results for some people in life. And so to have those people come along and to really take you under their wing like that, and then to see that impact to where it's who it's really helped you to become. Do you find yourself doing the same thing with some of your students, like really getting to know them on a little bit more deeper or personal level and connecting with them as your coach did for you?
Yeah, about the last, probably 15 years, when I was coaching at 18, 19, 20, I was a pretty arrogant little shit.
Yeah, of course.
I
Well, you
could
were
get,
18 and 19,
yeah,
you
exactly. And
thought you knew everything, right?
definitely. And so, I've definitely transitioned into more of that coach that mentored me. There was a state and time where it's like, it's hardcore, Marine boot camp type stuff. Do it, do it, do it. If not, you're not a worthy enough um, athlete for me. And then, what really changed it is when I had children. Then you realize the dynamics of going home to a child,
Yeah.
and that they are still a child, even though they have these amazing attributes and talents. They still have a child mentality. So after I had my first kid, I really took a step back and was humbled about how arrogant I got with my coaching. And that's when I started to go back to my days and realize I wouldn't be the person I was, and I wouldn't be the coach I was now if it weren't for her unique coaching style that my coach gave me. And so that's what really reinforced it for me. And now I do realize, and I do have athletes that have serious issues, whether it's divorce at home, bulimia,
Mhm.
suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety. I can see that because I've had that myself. So you can see through, and just subtly give them the comfort and the protection that they need without being so overbearing that they know what you're doing. So I'm so
Yeah, that's
grateful.
awesome. That's powerful. And, it's not everybody's able to make that shift, right? And so for you to do that and to have children and kind of have that realization, It's great. I think championship leaders, they evolve. They have to evolve. They continue to evolve. The the leaders that are just average or not championship level are the ones that don't change with the times. I think the great ones. If I look at, and I'm sure there's some in gymnastics that you can think of as well. But I go to football and like a Bill Belichick or a Nick Saban in college. You just see these coaches that win almost every year at the highest level. Sometimes you take it for granted as a fan. You don't really realize the greatness that they have, but it's the fact that they're able to consistently evolve and change and keep up with the time, even though they're getting older, right? Because sometimes I'll look at older people in your life or my life, and what's the saying, right? Like they're set in their ways.
Yeah.
Championship leaders, they're not. They can't. You can't be set in your ways. You got to continually grow and learn. We talk about principle number 8 in Shield Maiden, the
Oh yeah.
purpose of existence, eternal expansion, value creation, constantly growing and changing. So I think that's huge that you were able to do that, because there's a lot of men and women that they don't ever, no matter what happens in their life, they just stay the same. And so that's pretty powerful that you're able to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very grateful to have seen the light and to be able, because I know I'm a much better coach and mentor and friend now than I was prior to that.
Yeah. What's the vision for you in your life, business, with the gym? Like, where do you see yourself, let's say, even 5 years from now? Like, what's a big picture for you on what you want to do and how you want to continue to grow or not grow or maybe shift or change? Like, yeah, what is that vision for you right now?
That's such a dynamic question.
I
We
know.
went over it through Shield Maiden,
Yeah.
and I next year will be 20 years of owning the gym, and I have had thousands of athletes come through. Those athletes are now bringing their children through. And so
Awesome.
to see that I've made an impact on those kind of lives, that they're bringing their children back, it pushes me to keep doing what I'm doing. But then I'm also at a turning point in my life where I feel like maybe there is something else around the band that I need to start looking at
Yeah.
and challenge myself. Um, I feel like I'm in the third stage of my life since I'm in my 50s. And I feel like now that I have gotten the knowledge and the comfort, and I think I know who I am now, that now I need to go out and impact a different sort of life. And so Shield Maiden was great at helping me start to realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been able to completely pinpoint it yet, but yes, I feel like within 5 years there'll definitely be a change in my career and my path and what I want to do.
Yeah, that's great. Like you say, I mean, different seasons of life. You can't. No one does anything forever, right? And
Oh, let's hope not. We got to
yeah,
have that growth.
and who knows what that looks like. It could look like you keep the gym and somebody else is running it, and then you're able to go on and do something else, or maybe it means you're going to go travel the world and impact and speak to people about your experiences and impact people that way, or whatever it is. But that's yeah, vision. Um, it's 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 elusive, but also the greats, they're constantly thinking about the vision and where to go. So what what has been a significant turning point for you inside of your life? Like, a moment that maybe had you gone where everybody else tends to go, the easy path or the path most traveled, would have you in a completely different place in life versus where you are today. Like, what are some of the opportunities that have come up in your life where you very easily could have went left and instead you went right, and it has you where you are today? Is there a moment or two that come to mind for you?
Oh my gosh. There's more than one. Of
Mhm.
course, the birth of my first daughter, because I hadn't planned on having kids, and I honestly, it's the craziest thing because with my career, I'm not a kid person. I'd never
That's
changed, I'd never changed a diaper. I'd never
yeah.
babysat till my first daughter was born. And
Uh-huh.
after 4 days, I took her to a daycare because I had no idea what to do with her.
Yeah.
And so that right there really, I was a little older when I had her. So that was my first turning point is it's gotten real. You now have
Yeah.
100% responsibility of a human life. You're not just coaching them for a couple hours and shipping them off. So that was more probably my first one. Um, when I was 29, I got an autoimmune disease called Guillain-Barré, and I was totally paralyzed, 3 weeks in ICU, intubated, under heart monitors. My daughter was 16 months old, and my heart stopped 3 times. So took 2 years rehabilitation. So that in itself was a huge eye opener. And then that's another part when I realized that I needed to be more gracious with the gift that God had given me, and that's a huge turning point in my life. Then getting divorced at 40, having 100% of my girls, raising them on my own, making sure that I am filling all those voids that they didn't have with their dad in the picture. Then at 45, getting remarried and moving to Dubai for a few years, leaving my business in the hands of
Mm.
4 different managers, having to reinvent myself overseas in an Arabic country where men are the complete control. And
Yeah.
you know my past and how comfortable I am with a man having my
Yeah.
control.
Right.
Not real good with that, but had a really successful personal training business there. Got my paraprofessional certification, taught school, and so I like being that chameleon and being able to step into different shoes and proving to myself and proving to others that, no matter what the diversity is, I'm going to kick ass, take names, and make sure to take people with me, not step on people when I get there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And so tell me, I didn't know, well, there's a lot of things I didn't know that you just said inside of there, but what was the name of that disease that you had?
It's called Guillain-Barré.
Say it again.
Guillain-Barré.
Jan Beret.
Guillain-Barré, uh-huh.
Wow.
It actually started in the French War, and soldiers that had infections from wounds were getting this autoimmune disease, and it's where the myelin sheath goes haywire in your body, and the antibodies that protect that myelin sheath actually eat your myelin sheath away, so you have absolutely no nerve conduction.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
does
at
it
29,
rebuild itself, repair itself, or
what's that?
does that rebuild itself or repair itself?
It does. 85% of people come off with a remissionable issue.
Okay.
10% of people have um, continued paralysis, and then 5% of people do pass away from it.
Oh wow. So obviously you had the remissible.
Yeah, I was actually bodybuilding at that time, so my body fat was about between 7 and 10%. So I had
Yeah.
enough muscle in my body to sustain the
Wow.
issues it was going through. Thank goodness.
Yeah, no kidding. And so, yeah, it had to be incredibly challenging time in your life, and I'm sure it probably came out of nowhere too, right?
It did, and having a 16-month-old baby, thinking
Yeah.
never going to
Holy
hold her again,
cows.
not being able to basically hold her for 2 years,
Oh wow.
it was tough.
I bet. Oh my goodness. That's incredible. So yeah, so you battle through that, and then like you said, you were in Dubai for how long were you there? A year?
For no, for 4 years.
4 years. And
Yeah.
so you actually had a personal training business there.
I started with that because I didn't know, I knew I couldn't just sit home and,
Yeah.
and wait, for something to happen. So I was with a woman's group, started a woman's group in the community that we were living. And they were asking my background, and a couple of them were just, in passing, oh, I'd love to get in a healthy shape. And
Yeah.
took it on, and then before I knew it, I had almost 40 clients, and then the women were saying, well, my man needs to get in shape. So I started training them as well. Yeah, so it was really exciting.
Was it all kinds of nationalities? Was it
Yeah, everything from Arabic to Italian, German, Swits,
Okay.
yeah, tons.
Yeah.
So it's nice learning the different nationalities as well.
And so as you're doing that, you also have your gym here going, and like you
Yeah.
said, 4 to 5 other managers running it. Like, I'm sure you learned a lot in that time away. And how did the business go while you were gone in Dubai?
Well, I still have it. So
Yeah, well, we know you
there was
still have it.
obviously some decent points. My managers, I trusted them 100%.
Yeah,
I was so blessed to have the crew that I had, and they gave it 100%. Anything they went over and beyond anything I asked of them. So grateful for that, and to come back and have it still running so smooth. Just a blessed time in my life because I was getting burnt out and I needed that hiatus.
yeah. Well, maybe you should get out of your business more often than that's what it sounds like to
Starting to
me.
think that.
Yeah. No, that's so incredible, and it's a testament to you too, right? Because you obviously had the right people in place, and you also, I mean, you empowered them hugely, and I think a lot of people, when you talk about employees and people that you have on your team, they want to feel empowered. They want that trust, and for you to go to like the completely other side of the world for four
Yeah.
years, definitely the definition of being empowered and being like, here you go, I trust you. Like this is my life that I'm essentially handing over. And I'm sure you were obviously keeping checks and balances and checking in and making sure things were going smoothly. But at the same time, there's only so much you can do from Dubai uh, while things are going on in Idaho Falls. And that's something that I think the listeners definitely can learn something from because, talking to, as a coach, talking with entrepreneurs and business owners every day, that's one of the biggest things that people struggle with is really feeling that they have to do it all themselves. Even like Nicole Espinoza from your class at
Yeah,
Shieldman,
love her.
talked about that was one of the biggest things she learned was because when she was at immersion, like you guys didn't have a lot of time to do anything else, right? And
Yep.
she definitely didn't have time or energy to really check in on her team. And so it really was it was kind of a forced opportunity for her to empower them to just like, here you go, I'm gone. I'm not going to be able to check in. I'm not going to be available. Like you guys are going to have to run the show, and to come back and find out that, hey, I guess I'm not as important as I thought I was because these guys they killed it while she was gone. And so, yeah, that's such an incredible lesson. um, I love
Well,
it.
and that's it's not that she's not as important, but she chose the right team to help her, and I think that's part of the thing
Yeah.
is I've never ever thought of any of my staff as employees. They're always
Hmm.
coworkers because I would not be successful without them. And so to me, the word employee is kind of demoralizing
Yeah,
because they're more than that.
of course.
Without them, I am not who I am. My business is not who it is. And so, the same with Nicole, the team leaders. Everybody's a leader.
Yeah,
Everybody's a student, everybody's a leader. And if you are so arrogant or so nervous that your huddle is not going to help you, then you need to reevaluate your position and who's in your huddle with you.
yeah, I love it. And people, they'll pick up on that, right? I mean, they just know they know whether you really do trust them and look at them as more than just an employee, or if they're really a part of the team and a leader and like family, right? I kind of look at
Exactly. Yeah,
like,
for sure.
family, like you really, you know, they're more than just someone helping you to run a business.
Right.
Uh,
And
yeah.
to pad my paycheck for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely, and they just pick up on that, and when people feel that, they generally want to help more and do more for you and for this company because they kind of feel a little bit of ownership inside of that too. So
Yeah, honestly, they just saved my world
yeah,
because it is my comfort zone. It is where I go, because that is what I created. And so for them to help that creation continue is just, I'll never be able to pay them back for sure.
yeah, yeah, that's great. What are some of the biggest like characteristics for you that are most important to you? I think we're kind of talking about it a little bit, but as a leader, what do you really look for in, even in hiring or building your team from others as leaders? Like, what are some of the main characteristics that that are really important to you?
Integrity is huge because when you're working with children, the
Mm,
liability is, and we all, you have children, you want to make sure that who you're sending them off with is trustworthy,
yeah.
is honest, is forthright. And so, within just a couple of days with my coaching staff, it's pretty easy to see if they're comfortable with the kids. I want transparency. I don't want somebody that is like an aerobic instructor, just woohoo and up all the time when you know that not everybody's up on that all the time. I want somebody who genuinely is there as more of a career than a paycheck. And I need to know that they will go the extra mile because a child in development stages, I, like I grew up not having that. I want every one of my coaches, whether they're 16 or they're 40, I want them to be mentors for these children because, like I said earlier, we don't know what's going on in their lives at home. And even with our rec kids, we need
Mhm.
them to come and feel like that's a comfort zone, that they are cared about. And even that hour that they're there is going to be that 1 hour that they can take back to the struggles outside of that gym and realize there's somebody there that truly cares about them. And if they can't fit that bill even at a younger age, they're not for my program.
Yeah. And are you able to, when you see that, to strike quickly, I guess, and remove them from the team and get somebody else?
Yeah, I'm brutally honest with that. Yeah. There are some that it's
For
obvious.
some reason, that doesn't surprise me. I'm absolutely.
I don't know why, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I love it. It's
fun.
important though, right? As
It
a, because too many owners, business owners especially, like they know they have the wrong person on the bus or on the team, and yet they're afraid to have that conversation because they just, they hate confrontation or they don't want to hurt people's feelings or whatever, but it
or I
doesn't
think
serve anyone.
a lot of the business world is they're desperate, and a
Hmm.
warm body is better than no body.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a lot of the perception, especially in a smaller town where it's harder to get quality work and where we don't have a college. Colleges are great for gymnastics facilities because you can always pull from that pool.
Yeah.
So you have to do a lot more training in a town that doesn't have college. So even with the younger coaches, I love mentoring with them and seeing them grow through the years and seeing their confidence build and see, because it's not only for the student, it's for them too, because it's building their self-esteem. It's building their confidence that, hey, even at 16, I can be a leader. And so I love that maybe I'm being that mentor that my coach was to me. And I think that's a great way to pay it forward.
I love it. Yeah, that's great. And how long have some of your team been with you? Do you have people that are with you for a long time?
Actually, my head team coach has been in my gym since she was 8 years old.
Wow.
She went to college. She got a 5 year full ride to Sacramento State, was their
Awesome.
captain for the last 2 years, came back and is now my head coach and now has a son. So just love that she came back
That's
too. And
awesome.
I get a lot like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, if they're not my coaches, they are parents that were my student at one time.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love it. How big is Idaho Falls?
Idaho Falls is about 63,000.
Okay. Yeah. Not tiny, but not huge. But,
Not a metropolitan. No,
no,
not at all.
but big enough definitely to have a successful gym, obviously. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and it is the religious community, so there's lots of children, lots and lots of children here.
yeah, oh, that's great.
Uh,
Well, let's, as we wrap this up, I always like to ask, like, what are one or two things that you could leave the listeners with that could really impact them from all your experiences and knowledge and wisdom?
Um, no matter where you are, where you came from, or where you think your future is going, you can choose to go straight, left, right, or down. Totally up to you. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it because of anything in your past. If you want something, visualize it, write it down, come up with ways to do it. Take baby steps to get there. Don't give up on yourself, because if you give up on yourself, nobody's going to be there to help you out. The bottom line is it's all about you, and anybody has it inside them to be what they want to be.
I love it. That is amazing. Yeah, that's a great message. And what are some ways that the listeners can find out about you, find out about your facility, your gym? Um,
I'm horrible about advertising myself. I've
well, here
never
we
had a
go. Let's do
business
this.
card. I've never talked about it. It's all been word of
You
mouth.
gotta have a website or something, right?
I've got a website, ifgym, that's ifgym.com, or our Facebook, Idaho Falls Training Center.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much, Tina, for being here. I really appreciate you. Love you, sister. And yeah, I can't wait
Great
to
to
get
see
this
you, Coach
episode.
Nate. You're always in my heart. Thank you for all you've done for me. You have a great day. Thank
You
you.
too. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Championship and Leadership Podcast. And I really enjoyed my conversation and interview today with Tena LeBoeuf. She is a Shield Maiden Immersion graduate, and she just came through here. When was it? In June of 2019. And she's got an incredible story, just like all of the guests that I've had. And she's been through a lot inside of her life, a lot of experience, and she's just an incredible person. And so with that, I introduce to you Tena LeBoeuf.